What happened to the Vegas that gave a damn about the average person? The one where blackjack paid what it was supposed to, slots worth a total ripoff, and you played against a real human being. That Vegas? It's gone. They killed it. The very same corporate giants that built their glittering empires on our backs have turned around and methodically rigged every single game, fired the dealers, and twisted the math to bleed the very people who made them rich. They've betrayed you, and it's high time you knew the full extent of their scam. We're about to expose what's really been going down in the Las Vegas casino racket. The Great Slot Machine Heist. Let's start with their primary cash cow, the slot machines. And I'm telling you, the truth is going to make you see red. They've tightened these machines beyond belief. It's gotten dramatically worse in just the last few years. According to the Nevada Gaming Control Board's own 2024 data, their win percentage is now an average of 7.2%, up from 7.16% in 2023. You think that sounds small? When you're talking about billions of dollars, that tiny fraction is millions more stolen directly from players' pockets. But here's where the scam gets truly disgusting. The penny slots and multi-denominational machines. The very games they know regular folks play have been deliberately made worse. The so-called return to player, or RTP, has been in a complete nosedive. They're specifically targeting the casual players, not the high rollers. Does anyone even remember finding 98% return slots at places like the Riviera? Those days are a fantasy now. Today, you'd be lucky to find a penny slot that pays back over 90%. Most of them are programmed to hover at a pathetic 85 to 88%. That's a house advantage of 12 to 15%. It's not entertainment, it's a shakedown disguised with blinking lights. And here's the real gut punch. They can now adjust the odds on these modern slots remotely from a back room over a computer network. Insiders have confirmed it. They don't even need to touch the machine to tighten it up when the crowds get big. They can literally bleed you dry with the click of a mouse from some central command center. And the absolute worst offenders? The strip casinos. The data from the American Casino Guide doesn't lie. On the Strip, penny slots give back a measly 88.38%. Downtown is barely an improvement at 88.97%. Now, compare that to the Boulder Strip casinos where locals play, 90.49%. It's still a terrible deal, but it proves how the big Strip properties are systematically fleecing their customers. And that's before we even get into the psychological warfare. These machines are engineered by teams of behavioral psychologists with one goal: to get you addicted. Those near misses, the loud celebrations for a tiny win, the bonus rounds that promise a fortune but deliver nothing, it's all a calculated assault on your brain, designed to trigger the same dopamine rush as a hard drug. Second, the blackjack betrayal, the 6-to-5 epidemic. This is perhaps the single most insulting attack on the player Vegas has ever launched. For decades, blackjack was the one game where a smart player had a fighting chance. With basic strategy and a proper 3-to-2 payout, the house edge was a razor-thin 0.5%. It was an honest game where skill mattered. But then, corporate greed infected the tables like a virus. Don't just take my word for it. Gaming expert Mike Ponte from the legendary MIT card counting team exposed it to ABC News. The casinos began a systematic campaign to change payouts from the standard 3-to-2 to a crooked 6-to-5. Let me spell out just how badly they're ripping you off. On a fair 3-to-2 table, a $10 blackjack pays you $15. But on their new 6-to-5 table, that same winning hand pays you only $12. That one change skyrockets the house edge, nearly quadrupling it from 0.5% to an outrageous 1.9%. According to Vegas Advantage, the 6-to-5 takeover has been swift and brutal. Their latest surveys confirm our worst fears. The vast majority of blackjack tables on the Strip are now running this 6-to-5 scam. If you want a fair 3-to-2 game, you'd better be ready to play in the high limit rooms with their $25 to $50 plus minimums. But here's the most offensive part. They created a two-tiered system. The whales in the private salons still get the good 3-to-2 games. It's only the regular players, the very people who built this city over decades, who are stuck playing by these garbage rules. As Ponte explained to ABC News, when I first started playing, the rules were the same for everyone in the casino. Now, the rich get richer with better odds, while working class players get robbed blind. Third, the death of the live dealer. If you need any more proof of how little these corporations care about the real Vegas experience, this is it. They are systematically eliminating human dealers and replacing them with cold, soulless machines. It's happening as we speak. The Golden Gate Hotel and Casino, a 119-year-old landmark and the oldest hotel in Las Vegas, has completely ripped out every single live dealer table game from its floor. Every last table is now electronic, and the owner, Derek Stevens, isn't hiding it. He flat out admits this is a calculated decision based purely on profit margins. Stevens is spinning a tale about how younger customers just love these electronic games. But here's the part of the story he's not telling you. In many cases, these electronic games have significantly worse odds than the live games they replaced. And they completely sever the human connection that once made this town special. This isn't an isolated incident, it's a plague spreading across the entire city, and industry reports confirm this digital takeover is only getting faster. Look at the casualties. Eastside Cannery, Texas Station, and Fiesta Henderson never even brought their table games back after the pandemic, and the Golden Gate put the final nail in the coffin for its live dealers this year. Over at Circa, that same owner, Stevens, replaced the second floor live dealers with electronic versions, and now he's claiming they've exploded in popularity. Let me translate that corporate speak for you. It means they make him more profit. Think about it. Electronic games don't need dealers, benefits, or breaks. They run 24/7 with zero human labor costs. The message couldn't be clearer. Stevens is right. They're already planning to turn live table games into some exclusive circus for the ultra-rich. While the rest of us, the regular players, are herded like cattle towards those soulless machines. Do they even care what they're destroying? Forget the friendly banter with dealers. Forget learning the ropes from a seasoned croupier. They're gutting the human energy from the tables, leaving you staring at a screen, mashing buttons like some kind of lab rat in a cage. Fourth, the absolute insanity of their table minimums. You remember, don't you, when you could actually find a $5 blackjack table anytime you wanted? When a craps game didn't cost a fortune, even on a weekend? Well, those days are over. They've been systematically wiped out. And don't just take my word for it, a recent analysis from Vegas 411 lays it all bare. They've jacked up the table minimums to astronomical levels on every single game. Those standard $5 tables? A distant memory. Now you're looking at $15 to $25 minimums, even on a slow Tuesday. And on the weekend, they have the gall to demand $50 to $100 just to sit down. Don't let them fool you with talk of market forces. This is a calculated, deliberate exclusion. They are actively pricing out the very people, the regular players, who built this city. Let me show you the insidious math behind their scheme. Let's say you came with a $100 bankroll to play $5 blackjack. You'd get a solid 20 hands, a real chance to play. But now, at their $25 minimums, that same $100 gets you a pathetic 4 hands. One unlucky streak and they've kicked you to the curb. And those few $5 tables they leave out as bait? They're almost all the garbage 6 to 5 blackjack games with rules designed to fleece you. You want a game with fair odds? Oh, you'll pay a premium for that privilege, believe me. Craps has been butchered in the exact same way. Trying to find a $5 craps table on the strip is a fool's errand. They're starting them at $15 to $25, and during peak hours, they're demanding $50 or more. It's pure greed. But here's the ultimate proof of their contempt for the average player. They've shoved all the lower limit action onto electronic machines that have even worse odds than the already rigged live games. They're funneling casual players into these digital slaughterhouses while keeping the decent games roped off for the high rollers. Fifth on our list of crimes, they gave roulette a third zero. If you were disgusted by what they did to blackjack, this will make your blood boil. Look, American roulette was already a bad bet with its double zero wheel, handing the house a 5.26% edge. The fairer European single zero version cuts that advantage in half, down to 2.7%. So what did the brilliant minds in Vegas do? They made a terrible game even worse by slapping a third zero on the wheel. The Venetian is the culprit that pioneered this triple zero scam, and it spread like a cancer down the entire strip. Vegas Advantage has been tracking this plague. This triple zero monstrosity first showed its face at the Venetian back in 2016. By 2019, there were 25 of these tables infecting Las Vegas. And now, every single casino on the Las Vegas Strip is dealing this garbage. Get ready, because this is the math that should make you physically ill. A single zero wheel gives the house a 2.7% edge. The double zero wheel already jacks that up to a ridiculous 5.26%. But this triple zero scam? It skyrockets the house edge to an obscene 7.69%. They took the worst game on the floor and made it an even bigger ripoff, banking on the fact that most players wouldn't understand the math. And now for the sixth indictment. I'm calling this the continuous shuffling machine conspiracy. This is the change that proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they are hell-bent on eliminating any chance a player might have. I'm talking about the invasion of the continuous shuffling machines, or CSMS. These things are insidious. They feed discarded cards right back into the shoe, which means card counting is officially dead. It's impossible. The deck's composition never changes, so forget about ever seeing a card-rich shoe again. It even messes with basic strategy in certain spots. Remember traditional blackjack with a real shoe and a cut card? That created natural, honest variation in the deck. It was a system where a skilled player could gain a tiny, hard-earned edge by tracking the cards. Well, the CSMs annihilate that completely. Now, every single hand is dealt from a perfectly neutral, perfectly predictable deck, surgically removing the last shred of skill from the game. The casinos will feed you some line about how CSMs speed up the game and stop cheaters. Don't buy it. The real reason is terrifyingly simple. They guarantee their mathematical edge grinds you down on every single hand, without fail. Seventh, the absolute demolition of video poker. There was a time when video poker was the thinking person's game. With perfect play on a full-pay jacks or better machine, you are looking at a 99.54% return. That's a better shot than almost anything else in the entire casino. But those days have been murdered. The casinos have systematically gutted the pay tables to destroy any advantage a player might have. According to the legendary Gene Scott's own analysis, finding a full pay machine on the strip is a near impossible task. The Wizard of Odds has been documenting this for years, showing a steady, sickening decline in video poker returns over the last decade. Games that once gave you a fighting chance, a near break-even proposition, now have a house edge that's just as predatory as a slot machine. And the worst part? Many of these so-called video poker machines are just slot machines in disguise. They're not based on the probabilities of a real deck of cards. They're running on random number generators, which makes any strategy you have utterly and completely worthless. And if you do find one of the few good games left, you can bet it's tucked away in a high-limit room, demanding $5 to $25 a hand. A slap in the face to the quarter players who made the game a hit. Eighth, and this is the big one, what they are desperate to keep hidden. This is the information the casinos pray you never find out. It's about remote manipulation. Their modern slot machines can be altered on the fly, in real time. They can tighten the machines to drain your wallet during busy hours, and maybe loosen them up when the place is dead. All controlled from a central server, like some Big Brother operation. Then there's the algorithmic targeting. These electronic games are watching you, tracking your every move and adjusting the machine's behavior just to keep you hooked and feeding it money. Let me be clear, the games are literally programmed to manipulate your psychology. And finally, the great comp deception. By pushing you onto these machines, they've found the perfect excuse to slash your comp rates, because a machine costs them a hell of a lot less than a living, breathing employee. They're giving you garbage rewards for even worse odds, and here's the kicker: data mining. Every single electronic bet you make is a gold mine of data, feeding their algorithms to perfect their methods of manipulation. They're building a psychological profile on you, learning exactly how to bleed every last cent from your unique gambling habits. And don't even get me started on their progressive jackpot racket. They link these jackpots across countless casinos, deliberately muddying the waters so you can never figure out the real odds. That giant number they flash in your face, it's a fantasy, a lie that has no connection to your actual chances of winning. Number 9. Here's the cold hard truth of what this means for you. What does all this systematic manipulation mean for the average person just trying to have some fun? First, you have to face the math. The game is rigged against you more severely than any generation that came before. They've jacked up the house edge on almost every single game. Second, you must see the technology for the trap it is. These electronic games aren't for your convenience. That's just the sales pitch. They are meticulously engineered machines designed to drain your wallet with zero human oversight. Third, you need a reality check. The Las Vegas you remember, the one with a shred of integrity and real dealers, is dead and buried. You're walking into a mathematical war zone, an environment precision engineered to strip you of your cash as ruthlessly as possible. So, number 4, hit them where it hurts, your wallet. Hunt down the last remaining outposts that still offer a fair shake with live dealers. Give your money to the downtown spots and off-strip casinos that haven't sold their souls to the corporate machine. And 5th, arm yourself with knowledge. You absolutely must learn the difference between a real 3-2 blackjack payout and the 6-5 scam. Figure out which games haven't been totally corrupted. Know the enemy. Are you up against a cold calculating machine or a human being? I want to know, what's your story of getting fleeced? Expose them in the comments below. Tell us about the crooked rule changes you've seen, the soulless machines that replaced your favorite dealers, or if you found any casinos that still have a conscience. We have to band together and blow the whistle on what they've turned Vegas into. Number 10. The last bastions of honest gaming. Look, I'm not saying every single casino has completely sold out yet. Here are the few places where you might still get a fair fight. Downtown, you've got the D, Circa, and the Golden Gate. At least before they inevitably go all in on machines, they've held the line with some decent minimums and rules. Then there are the off-strip joints for locals like station casinos. These properties, along with South Point and other local haunts, are forced to offer better slot payouts and sane table minimums to keep their regulars. Even the Palms Casino caved and brought back 3-2 blackjack, proving that some operators know they've pushed too far. Of course, the high-limit rooms still offer fair games, if you can afford their outrageous $100 plus minimums. And for craps, a handful of downtown places still offer $5 craps with decent odds bets. But let's be clear, these are the exceptions that prove the horrifying rule. A fair game in Las Vegas is now a rare find, not the damn standard. The city you once loved? The city that was built on honest games and a fair shake has been systematically gutted by soulless corporate suits who view you as nothing but a number on a spreadsheet, an equation to be solved for maximum profit. Every single rule change, every machine they shove in your face, every jacked up minimum is a slap in the face, a complete betrayal of the trust that loyal customers placed in this city. They took decades of your loyalty and spit on it, repaying you with cold, calculated manipulation and by firing the very people who made this place special. But here's the weapon: knowledge. Understanding their scam is the first step to fighting back. It allows you to make informed decisions about where you'll let them take your money. The loyalists who built this city on their backs deserve honest games, fair odds, and real human dealers. And until the corporate overlords get that fundamental truth through their thick skulls, You better keep your eyes peeled, your wallet locked down, and you must demand better. What crooked changes have you seen on your trips? Have you been forced to watch as a machine took the place of your favorite dealer? Get in the comments and share your story. Let's blow the lid off this thing together and show everyone what a sham Las Vegas gambling has become.